Hello, and welcome back to Two Bald Dads. Good morning to you, good evening to you, whatever time of day you're listening to us. Welcome all, welcome to country, and in particular, welcome to Matt. Matt, welcome.
Chris, and you said you didn't have an intro. I mean, I'm blown away by that one. That was some of your best work. I mean, I'm sitting here with the plum preserve of the podcasting world. Chris Plum Jam Wall is what we called you.
That is what
We've all been calling you that behind your back for years.
Oh, really?
And other mean things too. But yeah, no, it's another huge week.
Yeah.
Another huge week. We're excited to be here. We've got something a little bit different for you today. We've been talking about our pipeline, and we've had a bit of a block passage.
Yeah.
And what's a block with, Chris?
I don't know.
Content.
Yes, I did know.
Content.
I did know. I knew that all along.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it was right here.
The content was inside of you all along. It was inside of me all
along. No, look, guys, we, as Matt did touch on, something a little bit different today. We're going to, as Missy Elliott said, we're going to turn this thing down, flip it and reverse it. Is that correct?
I always thought it was, or the part that after that just goes, nipper dipper damp down.
Yeah.
Never understood what that was.
No. But look, she seems to make it work, and big shout out to Missy, big fan of the show.
She listens?
Oh yeah, big time. I've got everyone's stats. Remember, I get the stats that actually tells me exactly who's listening. But look, like we said, we've got a lot to cover today. We've got something a little extra special for you, the good people of the podcast
Chris,
world.
We've got no time to pussyfoot around.
All right,
get your foot out of my pussy and let's crack on.
Well, do you want to kick us off, Matt?
Chris, I don't. I'd love you to kick us off.
All right, so this is, I suppose, Dad Moment of the Week.
This is what you could say. Yeah, I'll intro you in.
This is something I prepared earlier, Matt. This isn't something that just happened to me moments ago.
That's an oddly specific thing to preface what you're about to tell us with.
No, it did. During the week, I wasn't actually present. My wife debriefed me on this little situation, something that she was incredibly chuffed on. So I suppose you could say it's a mum moment of the week.
Okay.
I guess we'll call it that, a mum moment.
Unorthodox.
But this week, so my wife, anyone knows my wife, very, like a touch of OCD about her, very clean.
Yeah.
In everything she does.
She's like the summer.
Our house is... What was it?
Oh, I thought you said she's got the touch of the OC about her.
Okay. No. But she is very clean. This house
is immaculate.
Is immaculate at all times.
It's like a display home.
It is. That's the way my wife likes it. Display home-esque. But if anyone knows me, they know that is nothing to do with me.
You're like a hobo that's broken into a display.
The term piggish gets thrown around me, and sure, it's probably true. And if my wife wasn't here, this house would be in turmoil. But she keeps runs a very tight ship around here. And then we were wondering, you start to see little traits from your child. You start to wonder, are they going to take after mum? Are they going to take after dad? Are they going to be a super athletic, competitive football player like his dad? Or
what? Excuse me.
What was that? Sorry.
A super athletic. I mean, you did play football.
Athletically.
Somewhat athletically.
But look, Matt, enough about me.
No, okay. All right.
So my son had spilt milk, and there's no point.
No point crying over spilt milk. Yes, I said it first.
He spilled a bit of milk, and then
that's one of mine.
He went over to the milk, and he's like, man, he could see the droplets on the floor. He's like, man. And my wife was like, don't worry about it. It's all good. Like, we'll clean up later. And he was like, man. And he was... That's how he says mum.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not quite as articulate as your son. But anyway, he was really upset about the milk droplets that had hit the ground, because he knows how his mother likes to keep the house.
He doesn't want to upset mum.
That's it. So he actually, and then my wife said, don't worry about it, it's fine. He actually took himself over to his nappy bag and pulled out his own wet wipe.
Okay.
And wiped the floor.
Used or clean wet wipe?
Clean ones. We tend to keep only clean ones lying about.
Hey, I guess I care about nature. Okay.
And he went over, cleaned up
Very good.
Cleaned it up. I mean, mind you, not quite as good as his wife would have. My wife would have liked.
His wife?
No, not his wife. His mother would have, probably.
Yeah, of course.
It,
But I mean, he does lack the dexterity.
That's it. And he is only 18 months old, so
of course,
we'll give him a break this one time.
Important to remember. Yeah. I mean, you know what they say: fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Fool me more times,
Exactly.
You can't fool me again.
See me more times.
But he wiped up his own milk. He went over to the bin and put it in the bin.
That's very impressive.
And honestly, my wife said she nearly cried.
Yeah, that must be a very big moment. That's how happy
she was, because she loves cleanliness.
Yeah,
and to see her son, her only child, taking after her in that same vein. It's huge. A real happy moment.
I mean, they say kids at this age, they're like sponges. Ironically, like the very same sponge that would be used to clean up a spill.
Correct. Very good, Matt. Very good. But look, I just want to share, what's happening here at,
okay, check in
within these
this
walls.
Is the walls weekly update, and I love it, Chris. And it's what keeps people coming back.
That's it.
People are coming back to listen to our podcast in their 10s.
Yeah. They're tuning in on YouTube in their 5s.
Yeah, exactly. We're almost hitting the 10s in YouTube. But I mean, yes, we are excited, and there are big things coming. Yeah. We're sure of it.
And this is just the start.
We've just got to figure them out.
It's just starting. Yeah, it's about to burst even more.
I mean, I think we've all seen when a dam collapses. Yeah. It all starts with a burst pipeline, and then the dam comes.
Does it?
I'm no hydroelectrician, Chris. But I digest.
But Matt, enough about me, enough about dams, and enough about pipelines. What have you got for me, sir?
Well, Chris, I spent the day out at Warragamba Dam today.
One of Sydney's most famous dams.
No, I didn't. I wish I could have, and then I would have had a better dam analogy.
Yeah, okay. All right, but carry on.
I'm sorry for swearing.
Yeah, it's fine.
But anyway, I've got a bit of a dad moment that also didn't just happen to me either. I mean, I've had a huge day today, big day. I'd had enough. I walked in there and I took my son out of daycare. He's out.
Wow.
He's out of daycare, Chris. This is the best opportunity for my son to get his health back on track that we're going to have. We have this sweet spot in between now and in between next week.
Next daycare.
Where he starts a new daycare.
Yeah.
That he's as immune as he's ever going to be of that daycare, and he doesn't have to go back there and get sick again.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very well aware that he's probably running into a whole new set of diseases.
I was about to say he's
become immune to those diseases.
He's about to dive into a brand new petri dish of diseases.
I know, and it's like when people invade countries and the natives die of, common colds because they're not ready for them. Not that my son's going to die of anything.
Yeah.
Probably, I guess. I hope not.
It's very grim.
I know. It took a dark turn in my mind. But we're in. I mean, I guess I'm not paying for daycare at the moment. Everything's coming up us. We don't have to worry about him getting sick. We don't have to worry about those J-Brones down at the daycare always giving me crap. And I think that's a worthy dad moment.
Did you call them J-Brones? Sorry, can I?
Yes, I did, Chris.
What's a J-Brone?
It's a jabroni.
Okay. Sorry, is that assumed knowledge? Am I a bit behind the 8 ball on that one? Is that? I mean, you've just dropped the word J-Brones, almost as if we've discussed this previously, or the people on pod might know what the you're talking about.
I mean, in all fairness, Chris, you've known me for how many years?
A couple.
I would say that you've heard me say the word J-Brone before.
I've heard jabroni heaps of times. You refer to most people as jabronis.
Well, most people are jabronis.
Now you're getting even lazier.
Yeah, I know. I'll just start calling them J's soon. But yes, they are J-Brones, jabronis. Any wrestling fan worth their weight will know what a jabroni is.
Yep.
And if you don't, look it up.
Okay.
Read a book.
All right.
That's what I'm here to do. Expand the mind.
Read a book.
Wrestling book, I guess.
How many authors are using jabronis or jabrones,
Well, Chris,
do you think, in their text?
I can tell you the one book that I've ever read in my life, which is the Ric Flair autobiography, it is mentioned several times. Great read.
What was that called? What's that called?
It's called, if you do want to get it, it's called To Be the Man, You've Got to Beat the Man.
So all you guys are listening to us on Audible or something like that, and you can get books.
Exactly, Chris. But I'm also. I guess we can give away what the episode is. We've got today. We've got a very special guest in. Mm-hmm. Chris, do you want to give us a bit of background on the guest?
Yeah. So today's guest is a young gentleman.
He's sitting here with us now.
He's one I prepared earlier. No, look, we had a young gentleman by the name of Dean in. We brought him in. I interviewed him. Now, unfortunately, my co-pilot, my POC, was unavailable that day, and so I had to fly solo.
Right, and that's where I want to jump in.
Okay.
So I'm in a unique position where I can provide feedback.
Go ahead.
Live on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm writing in. This is the mailbag section.
Right,
this is what I was trying to set up here.
And you've listened to the episode.
I've been able to have a pre-listen, and I guess I just want to warn everyone. First of all, Chris, I resent you calling me your POC.
Okay.
Piece of crap.
I didn't think you'd notice that's what I'm doing.
But look, I just wanted to say, for everyone, just be warned. Dean sounds great. He's great.
Yeah.
Couldn't fault Dean. Unfortunately for you.
All right.
No, I'm just saying you sound like you're missing someone. Mm. You're not the same.
Who is it, mate? Who do you think I'm missing?
Well, there's just a certain flair, a certain
Ric Flair that's missing.
How do you say a bit of a je ne sais quoi that you're missing, Chris? So all I'm saying is, probably better in future if I'm not going to be able to make it for unforeseen circumstances.
Just don't do it. Is it?
Just don't do it. It's probably better. So, I'd rather us not put something. It's like in MasterChef, Chris.
Yeah. I'd rather not serve up a dog shit dish.
Exactly.
So giving all these people who are just moist with anticipation for this interview with Dean, don't worry about it because there's a severe lack of. How do you say in your language?
Je ne sais quoi. Yeah, Macedonian. But actually, I'm just terrified people will realise how disposable I am. It's a cracker interview we've got coming up, and Chris, you did very well flying solo, and Dean did well for his first time on pod. Yeah, we're led to believe
he did. We had to do a couple of takes. We had to get him nice and lick it up for the.
Well, I mean that's how we do it.
Yeah, that is. So he was nice and socially lubricated by the time we ripped into the episode. But look. Bit of background: Dean's a young father. He's got a 3-month-old child, and Dean is, for lack of a better word, a nervous wreck. He is. He is. Oh, we love him to bits, but ever since we've ever known him, Dean's a nervous guy. He's and you can only imagine the unpredictability of childbirth and then newborn children, but it's actually quite funny hearing it from Dean. So I had to go full Tracey Grimshaw on him.
You did. You wore the shoulder pads and everything.
I did. I was power dressed, ready to go. But look, guys. So we're going to cut to that right now. Give it a listen. Let us know what you think.
Don't mention that it's better because
we already know the feedback that it was crap because Matt wasn't there. We don't want to hear that feedback,
and we don't want to hear the opposite feedback either.
No, but guys, give it a listen. All right, all you dreamers and creamers out there in podcast land, I've got an extra special guest for you. My name's Chris. I'm unfortunately flying somewhat solo today. I'm without the big fella himself, the Macedonian Moose, as the people call him. He's unable to be with us today, but I do have a very special guest. A very special guest by the name of Dean. Welcome, Dean.
Howdy doody.
So the Dean of Admissions is here today. We've spoken about our pipeline. We've got a huge bursting pipeline of content just coming for you guys. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is Dean's tip of his iceberg coming at you guys. So guys, I brought Dean in here today. He's a new dad. And he was obviously a huge fan of the show, obviously. Otherwise we wouldn't have him on,
Number one supporter.
But look, Dean...
I'm the only listener, right?
Dean is... you could be, as far as I'm concerned. But look, Dean's a new dad. He had a pretty exciting birth, I would say, and he's here to share his story with us. Dean, your child is now 3 months old, is that correct? You've got a little daughter?
Correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're looking more daddish, I've noticed.
You can see the tending hairline.
I was about to say it's still thick, sure, compared to mine and Matt's. But I mean, have you thought about becoming a bald dad?
Not just yet. I'm trying to fight it.
What sort of serums or stuff are you using? Are you using like that black powder that Trent's been talking about?
He's going to kill me for that. Usually I wear a hat, usually.
Yeah. Well, it's a classic move. No one can tell you're bald. No, you got a while to go yet, Dean. But, mate, can you take us through it? Can you rip us through it? Now, please spare no detail. And when I say spare no detail, I mean spare no good detail. Get rid of all the crap details because I don't care.
It depends how many details. It was a 26-hour labour, so there was quite a lot to talk to you about, but I'll spare all the rest of it.
The boring stuff, like, oh my God, my wife was in pain. We took her to the hospital, obviously, I want to hear about you being a deadbeat dad.
She interrupted me at 4:30 a.m. on the Saturday morning whilst I was trying to sleep.
Oh my God, the nerve.
To inform me that I think we're having our baby today. And then I said, any day but today, please, just not today.
So hang on a sec. Now, I know I said spare a lot of details, but I mean, how many schooners are we talking the night before?
Oh, potentially 14 and a sleep.
Now, it was back in summer, so there was no footy to watch. What on earth were you doing on the Friday night?
I was getting myself ready for dad life.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Just solo barbecuing out the back.
No, very good. So you've been woken up, you're ready, it's happening. Shit's getting real. All right, mate, go.
And then that dragged out all day, and then at about, I think it was 10:30, almost at 11 o'clock on the Saturday night, we decided to go into the hospital. And then once we went in there, the nurses were going to send us home just with a Panadine Fort tablet. And I said, surely she's taking the piss here. She's screaming here, and you want to send us home. And they asked us how dilated she was, and being first-time parents, we had no idea. I said, how would you know that?
You're like, let me check. No, I'm joking.
Well, we said, we don't know. And then she laid her on the bed and said, I need to do a physical here.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, what's going on here? And
I need to get real physical with your wife. And I'm like,
very,
right, okay.
Very. So I awkwardly sat there, third wheeling, while she did her business. And she was only 2 centimetres dilated at that point. And
so this is what, 6, 7 o'clock at night?
No, at this point in time, it was probably about midnight on the Saturday night.
Midnight, but she told you 4:30.
It'd been going since 4:30 a.m.
that it was happening. Wow, it's a long time to be in pain, isn't it?
And a long time to listening to screaming. No.
That must have been excruciating for you to have to listen to that.
No, I kid.
I'm not editing that out. I'm going to edit out the part where you're like, I kid, I'm a joke.
No, I joke. She, and then did the physical, and then they were going to send us home, and then, so we took the 2 Panadine Fort, went down to the car, and then she started throwing up, and the contractions were a lot more frequent. And at this point in time, I thought, there's no way in the world we're going to make it home. So I carried her back inside, and she had about another 12 or 14 contractions in the space of 15, 20 minutes. And then the lady said, look, at this stage, you're only 4 centimetres dilated, so we'll just send you into a room. Mm-hmm. Nerita's only wish she had whilst
or her birth plan was to not have a water birth. That was it. And the other option was, not option, she said, I do not want you to see anything you shouldn't be seeing. Mm-hmm. I said, no worries, I can wait outside. Just let me know when we're good to go. That was not the case. So she sat in a bathtub on her knees, hunched over, whilst I was there for, I reckon, a good 4 hours or so, hosing her with the hot water tap like a sorry sack of shit.
Hosing her?
She's screaming in agony, and here I am hiding behind with my shirt over my eyes, crying internally, saying this poor girl is going to die.
How helpless are you?
It's shocking, absolutely shocking. And then the nurses kept coming in and out quite a lot because they could hear how loud the screams were. Mm. You'd swear someone was getting murdered. And then this dragged on for quite some time. And then the nurses came in, checked her multiple times, and she wasn't really that much dilated. She was having a lot of contractions, a lot of pain, and I think she had like spine on spine, so bub wasn't sitting in the right spot, wasn't ready to come out. And then the nurses came in.
Dean, I said save me the boring...
I'm reliving my traumatic experience. This is kind of therapy for me.
It's hard to tell the story without telling the full story.
Exactly. And this is saving me $180 in therapy that I go to every 4 weeks.
You know what? Once this is live, you can just listen back to it and you're like,
free counselling.
Go ahead, say.
And then they continued on, and I said to one of the nurses that came in, I said, excuse me, is there a second bathroom in here? And she said, why, sir? Why would you need that for? And I said, I think I need to have a spew. And she said, surely not. I said, no, surely. The anxiety was through the roof. The IBS was off its charts. I said, excuse me. I bolted down to this random toilet down the other end. Literally, I could not stop spewing in the basin there. And I sat on the toilet, did my thing with my head in my hands, and I cried. I cried for a good minute and a half. Thinking, oh my God, when's this going to end?
And then, when's this going to end for you? You're like, oh God.
And then I could hear her screaming down the hall. I thought, oh shit, here we go. So reefed me jocks up and bolted back down. And I went back there, and the nurse said to me, okay, you need to hold this torch. And it was like a big square dolphin camping torch. And I thought, what am I doing with this? And the other
medical
nurse,
grade one, I hope.
And I'm thinking, what's this lady doing? And she gets in the bath and puts what I would say a mirrored barbecue spatula underneath Nerida. And I thought, what in the fuck is she doing with this? And she's made me stand above her and shine this torch onto the spatula. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing.
So you can see everything. Right
so
in there.
Nerida's 2 wishes went out the window.
Immediately.
And I'm looking at this thing, and in my mind, I was tearing up and crying just from what I was looking at, but also trying not to spew again. Yeah. And the torch is shaking. The lady's like, excuse me, can you please shine the torch on here? The torch is way off where it should have been. And then that went on for quite some time as well. And then after a few more heavy, really bad contractions, then they said, this is it. And then out of nowhere, they just reefed out a baby. Just shot out through the front.
A magical water birth, just like Nerida always wanted.
But yeah, it was an extremely traumatic experience on all parts.
So I'm just visualizing the moment. If I could be with you there for that moment. So traditionally very cool under pressure.
Absolutely.
Pure professional at all times.
Always composed.
Pure composure. But so you had to leave. You had to leave while it was all going on because it was too stressful for you. To not only vomit but to also shoot yourself.
I did. And I may or may not have had to have 3 Valiums in the course of this whole process, which did shit all.
You should have got on the whistle thing.
I did. At the end of it, once we laid in we had Nerida doing skin on skin, and that was the only pain relief Nerida had at the end was the whistle, and then or the gas, sorry, and then. Nerida looked at me, she's like, you look like shit. And I said, honestly, I don't feel well. Something seems off. I was cold, I was shaking. And she's like, just sit down. So I sat down. She's like bleeding profusely. There's like blood all over the room. And she's like, "Can you have some of this whistle?"
And so hang on a sec, she's gone through all this, but yet she's there supporting you.
As I said, it was traumatic. So she's passed me the gas, and I've been chuffing on this thing for about a good minute and a half. I think this is doing jack shit. No wonder you're in so much pain. And then out of nowhere, I just got this real big, heavy head spin. I thought, wowzers. And I've just sat down, fell in the seat, just laid on out. And then the nurse all of a sudden walks in and sees me with it. She's like, "I'll have that back, please." Wheeled the card on out. I looked at Darren, I'm thinking, shit.
This is great. This is great stuff, Dean. And I have visions of you getting wheeled out in like a wheelchair, holding the child, and your wife's pushing you out.
I needed my own room after that. I almost should have been admitted.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant stuff. Obviously, Nerida and Bub were fine, all good.
Yeah, both were great. Yep.
Obviously loves the water. Ready for swimming lessons this morning.
Yep.
Dean's come straight from swimming lessons, but unfortunately due to a chemical issue.
Not from me.
Not from you. He was unable to partake, but no. Look, I imagine your little daughter's probably going to take to water quite well, just being naturally birthed into it. I imagine that's how it works.
Time will tell.
No, look, and this is the thing. I mean, sure, the gals go through quite a bit physically.
Yeah, for the record,
emotionally.
I don't want to sound like a real piece of shit here. That was all for laughs. I mean, yes, it all did happen, but honestly, the chicks go through some serious shit.
It's outrageous.
That was so traumatic to watch, and to see someone in so much pain. And I thought, is it really worth going through all that much pain? And then to watch what they go through for the first few weeks as well, adapting to breastfeeding and everything else. It just looks like non-stop pain.
It's out of control. It is. And it's even the whole pregnancy process from start to finish, it gives you a huge appreciation of what a woman's body is able to go through and change and stuff like that. Like it's
absolutely.
We went to the birthing classes and we saw like a diagram of where it's sitting, like at full term, whatever, and you just see all the organs just like smashed up into like a little corner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that seems unpleasant, doesn't it? Here I am, a bit tired. Full credit to the gals out there. That's a huge effort. But look, don't take anything away from what a bloke's role is in this.
It is, to be fair though, yes, the chicks have it so tough. But as a male, don't you just feel like such a useless piece of shit? Yeah. There's nothing you can do to take the pain away from them. There's nothing you can do to help them. I literally just stood there in this whole bath experience and I was like a stunned mullet. Yeah. I've had no words. I thought, just keep your mouth shut because whatever you say, you're going to get abused.
It doesn't seem like there is a right thing to say, is there? I remember my wife when she was right in the thick of it, and it was like yelling and screaming, and I'm literally just like up next to it, tapping her on the shoulder, like going, there. Good stuff. And she's like, ah, and then I'm like, love you, dear.
Well, once Evie first came out, I don't think I had any more tears to give. I was crying so much internally and hiding behind my shirt behind Nera's back, patting her on the back or hosing her with the bath hose. There was nothing left to give. I was absolutely exhausted.
Oh man, that's incredible, Dane. Thanks for sharing your story with us, mate. Really appreciate it. And look, I'm glad you came on and let me interview you like a young, hot Tracey Grimshaw that I am. It seems like one of those real in-depth chats that we've had. I want to give a quick shout out to Dean as well. Dean, you are a local business owner.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you've seen Dean's decked me out with some merch, a bit of kit here.
Charge me a hefty fee to sponsor this though.
Pretty expensive.
How do you think we pay for all these microphones?
It's a pretty elaborate setup in here.
I do like the new studio.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
We've done really well.
We're about to move once Matt moves into his new estate, he's going to give us the full east wing to use as a studio, which should be good. So we should be ripping into that. We should be branching out, I imagine, soon enough. I'll get my wife to put the decor up because you've given so many compliments about how well my wife has decorated this house.
It's absolutely immaculate.
But look, big shout out to Dean and DC Mowing and Landscapes. Is that how I would say it? If I were to give a shout out, Dean, is that what I would say? DC Mowing and Landscapes? Is that DC Gardenscapes?
One would think your eyes are painted on. If you look down at your shirt and your stubby holder and the hat and the jumper and everything else,
I've actually got Dean saved
it's
in
actually
my
DC Gardenscapes.
I've actually got Dean saved in my phone as DC Mowing and Pest Control.
I might have to rethink this whole sponsorship.
Look, Dean, you get what you pay for.
Poor old Evie's gone hungry for the next week for what I'm about to pay you.
Honestly, mate, I really appreciate your time coming in to talk with the two bald dads, sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
Dave, before we go, could you do us the honours? I mean, every week we like to give the dads and mums out there a bit of comedy because we're a pretty hard-hitting show. Like I said, Tracey Grimshaw, hard-hitting, focused. This is serious content I'm throwing out there, but we'd like to break it up at the end of the show with a bit of a lull, as the kids call it, a bit of a rufflecopter, a bit of a lolcano, if you will, and with a dad joke of the week, you know, something that you can share, something you can share around to the people. But Dan, would you do us the honours this week of giving us your very best dad joke of the week?
Love to. One that comes to mind: why should you take a second pair of socks when playing golf?
Why?
In case you get a hole in one.
Very good, Dean.
I've got more.
Coming from a couple of real bad golfers here too. Or do you have more? Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the chat with Dean as much as we did. He's a bloody legend of a bloke. Big shout out to him. Thank you so much for coming on, Big Rig. We really appreciate it. But look, guys, if anyone's got any feedback for us, anyone's got any hilarious birthing stories or troubles with newborns, we'd love for you to get us in touch. We'd love for you to get in touch.
We are in touch constantly.
I would love for you to get in touch. But Matt, how would they get in touch?
They would get in touch with us, Chris, at twobaldad69@hotmail.com. Our very legitimate email address. We are mostly receiving spam from an ill-fated designer that we spoke to. So that's a lot of our incoming mail at the moment. Or you can get in touch with us at twobalddads_pod. Chris, if you would like to get in touch with me, you have my phone number.
I do, yeah.
Also, I just want to reiterate, you did an amazing job in my absence, and Dino, you told a very good yarn, very good stuff. It's not easy coming in cold there, and I am, again, not to toot my own horn, but I'm sort of a calming presence in the room.
It's true.
Yeah, and
like it was
you,
sorely missed.
Yeah, well, you've got the Tracey Grimshaw stare.
Yeah,
you know, she will stare. Yeah, exactly. She's got that Superman stare that can melt steel. But very good stuff, and it was an interesting experience being on the listener's side. Not that enjoyable.
No, but honestly, big thanks again to Dean. Thank you to you, Matt,
thanks,
for being
Chris.
here.
Thank you to you.
To you. But look, guys, tune in next week. We're going to do it all over again. We're going to rip in bigger and better, I imagine, if possible. But look, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to Two Bald Dads. I'm Chris.
And I'm Matt.
And we'll see you through the week or through the window.
Through.